Daddy, will I really be a doctor someday?
Little Emily's big blue eyes sparkled with hope as she asked her father, John. John, a taxi driver in a small town, smiled warmly, though his heart carried the weight of her dream.
Of course, sweetheart. You'll wear that white coat and make me proud.
What Emily didn't know was how hard her father worked to make that promise come true. John had a secret jar under the passenger seat of his taxi. Every extra dollar he earned went straight into it, funding Emily's future, but life wasn't easy. Long hours, tough roads, and sleepless nights were the price John paid for his daughter's dream. One stormy night, after a 14-hour shift, John was heading home when he noticed an elderly woman struggling to walk in the pouring rain. Her frail figure looked lost and helpless. John hesitated. He was beyond exhausted, but his conscience wouldn't let him leave her there. He pulled over and rolled down the window.
Ma'am, do you need help?
The woman explained she was searching for her estranged son, whom she hadn't seen in years. Without thinking twice, John offered to help. He spent hours driving through unfamiliar streets, asking strangers for leads. Finally, as dawn broke, they found her son. The tearful reunion melted John's exhaustion. As the woman stepped out of the car, she tried to hand him a wad of cash. John shook his head.
I didn't do it for the money,
he said softly and drove away. The next morning, disaster struck. John found his savings jar shattered and empty. Someone had broken into his taxi. Years of sacrifices vanished in a moment. Heartbroken, John sat in his car, head in his hands, wondering how he'd break the news to Emily. Later that day, a knock at his door startled him. It was the elderly woman, her son standing beside her. She held an envelope in her hands.
You helped me when no one else would,
she said.
Now it's my turn.
Inside the envelope was a full scholarship for Emily, funded by the woman's charity organization. Tears filled John's eyes. That night, as Emily hugged him tightly, John realized that acts of kindness, no matter how small, often come back in ways we can never imagine.